Well, it looks like we're ready. Seems like you're ready. Seems like you're ready. That's not the song. I'm trying to remember. I do know the song, but I'm not gonna sing it the way the way it's supposed to go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are. Hey, I'm here. I'm here. It's a little bit after 5. My computer just dragging along, deciding it's ready to come on and get us moving. And here we are. Hey Ward, how you doing this evening? Well, yeah, we're here in the market. Well, not the market, but we're in our seat getting prepped for the market coming up next week. Hope all is well. Hey Selena, hope you had a good restful time away from the screens. I did the same thing, just kind of took a little break away from some screens, took a little break on your mind. Um, got to my computer. Oh, maybe I was here a little bit so I could set up all the stuff for this evening, then went off and came back and finished the all setup and all that good stuff. Um, but yeah, I hope y'all took some time. Selena said market prep on a Sunday. Love it. That's what we do. Do a little bit of market prep. Hey, Toke, we do a little bit of market prep. D. McIntyre, good afternoon. Do a little market prep. Saturday, you take the time to just give yourself a woosah. You let Saturdays, just kind of chill your mind. You go do other things. I actually took a short road trip down and saw my dad and saw some of my cousins and who else did I see? Oh, I saw my nephew. So a few people, my dad, my stepmom. So it was good to see them. I hadn't seen them since Father's Day, so it was good to do that. And then came on back, got to see my daughter, my stepdaughter, got to see her as well. And then came on back up the road. Today it's kind of been a chill day. Had some little errands around the house to do, so we've done that, and now we're here getting ready, getting our minds, our bodies, our fingers, and everything prepped for this coming week. Selena said, "Yeah, I enjoyed no screen time Saturday. I think it's wise to do the no screen time a couple times a week. What happens to me sometimes though, uh, I I'm at the screens during the day, depending on how things are going. And then after the day's over, I don't want to do any more screens, but I really should still do like a recap video or something like that. Actually, this week I'm really gonna try because I really would like to do recap videos at the end of the day so we can look at what did we do to trade, what caused us to enter, exit, kind of what things did we do along the way, what did I do, and what did we lead the community to do. And I really want to do that, so I'm going to try that this week. I did it before when I was on vacation. When I was in Mexico, I did them, and then when I came back and got into my regular life, those recap videos, because at the end of the day, when I'm done with all the things that have to do with the screens, I don't feel like doing another video, but I need to do those because I think it's helpful to you all. It's also helpful to me. It makes me it makes me, when I'm making trades, knowing that I'm going to do a video makes me think through what it is I'm actually doing, because I want to say, okay, at some point today, I'm going to explain to someone why I did this. So it makes me think about it and makes me be just, even more mindful of the trades that I take. We do have a process. We do have an entry criteria. Hey, Denise. Hey, Miss Marcia, we do have an entry criteria. So when I follow that criteria, we can definitely put that into a recap video. And I never make them long anyway. Anyhow, I'm going to try to do those this week. That's my plan. Maybe somebody in my community can ask me, did you do a recap video? And I can put those in, right? So let's see, what did the market do last week and what is it potentially going to be doing this week? Let's just take a look and see. Okay, I'm going to show our screen on what actually happened last week and what we anticipate potentially happening this week. Of course, never we don't have any crystal balls. We just we just talk about what we see and what we could potentially see. Okay, this is the weekly chart on SPX. This is the weekly chart. This means every candle is 1 week worth of data. So this is the week that we just came out of. Full 3. It's a 3 week for those who know about the strat. This is a 3 candle. A 3 candle basically means that it engulfed the previous candle. Yeah, the Commanders doing their thing. I think the Jags are trying to win too this week. So this is all good stuff. I think the Jags are trying to win as well as the Commanders. Did the Commanders win, or are they still trying to win? Um, uh, yeah. So anyway, so the three candle means it basically went higher than the high of the previous week, and it went lower than the low of the previous week. I'm not sure if you can see these wicks. This is kind of I wanted to go bigger to the right and left. Yeah. So it went higher here. So the high of last week was 65.32, looks like. 60, yeah. And the low of last week was 63.60. So we SPX went outside of the previous week to the upside and outside to the downside. Basically, it engulfed the previous week on the top and the bottom. So now after a 3, you basically wait to see what happens next. I mean, will it go on up to continue to the upside? Does it come and continue to the downside? Usually a 1 candle happens after a 3, which basically means something in the middle of these two, in the middle of the top and the bottom happens the subsequent week, but that all remains to be seen. This is the weekly candle. Basically, we went what's called outside week, so it's outside both the top and the bottom, because inside basically means it's just bouncing around. Outside week means it's got some, if you're, for those who know anything about broadening formations, you do have an outside leg here and you got an outside leg here. So you've got now you've got price has been expanded to the top and to the bottom. So you've got room to the top and the bottom for price to go. Oh, it says Ward said they won 21-6. Okay, y'all check the Jags and see how the Jags are doing. All right, so that's what's going on with the weekly. Let's go down to a daily chart. All right, so this is the daily chart. That same broadening formation I was just showing you basically shows that we've got some expansion. You've got some expansion from, and we can actually tighten this up now, but because we've got, daily candles we can use, so we probably could bring this in a little tighter even. So where we've got here, we got from the tops of these, I went to a high, swing high to a swing high. So let's say I bring this one to a swing high. This would give us a broadening formation, kind of gives us a trend, what the upper limits are. And then we've got some lowers. I probably would take this and move it down to something like that. Is that a good place to be? Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, something like that. So now you've got some boundaries. Show that you've got some boundaries that you're working inside of. Okay, that's what's going on there. But now we're outside. So then this is the daily candle. These are dailies. Ignore all my lines. Don't say nothing about all my lines. Those are useful pieces of information. Okay. I wonder if I should change to a dark. Does it help if the background is dark or if the background is white? I don't know if that helps y'all any, if the background is white or dark. I don't even know where to see that. You make the background dark or light. I thought it was pretty easy to see. Canvas, maybe? Background, solid white. Let's see if we did it. If it goes black, it's probably gone. Is that easier to see for y'all? I don't know if that's easier to see. Probably. Yeah, you can see the candles, I think, even better that way. So anyway, you can't see my trend line though. It's a trend line and it's missing. My trend line is missing because it was black and I don't know where it went. Anyway, we've got, I'd have to change my gap colors to another color too, because right now I can't even see the gaps. Okay, let me adjust this a bit because that doesn't quite work for me. The background needs to be a little bit, I don't like the way that looks. This is not the time to be dickering around with this, is it? I don't want gradient either. Let's go back to the white. Save ourselves. Yeah, let's just go back to what the rivers and the lakes that we used to, as Janae would say. Go back to the rivers and the lakes that we're used to. Okay, so this is the daily from last week. This was Tuesday. We had a short week. We only had 4 days. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. we gap down, SPX gap down significantly on Tuesday, but recovered all of that and then some. Folks who were like, oh, the sky is falling. It fell right down to right at 6,400, opened up just above 6,400 and ran up basically the rest of the week. Okay, that's how we got to be the outside week. It dropped lower than a previous week and went higher than the previous week. And here we are. All right. Here we are. This buyer's gap that I had marked on the chart last week, the daily buyer's gap, got filled on Thursday. Got filled twice, basically got filled on Thursday, and then Friday's price action came right back through it. So we can take that daily buyer's gap off. It was up here. It actually kind of was a seller's gap because it went from up the top of this, the 28th, and it opened the next day, opened a little lower. So it really was like a seller's gap, I guess you could call it, because it opened lower. Anyway, it's been filled. That's the point that I'm making with that, is the gap has been filled. And then there was a gap here that's now filled too. All righty. So if you're looking here, do you see a bit of, we're still, SPX still looks bullish. Is it strongly bullish? I don't know. We're at all-time highs. We'll have been at all-time highs. We went back to it. People thought we at 65 gonna hold it, and we'll see at 6 o'clock whether the ES kicks in and we're above even the 65.32, which was the high of last week. We'll see. Is there more room to chug up higher, or do we pull back some more? I think it's a little weak up here, but again, I'm just, I'm not an investment advisor. I'm just talking about what I might be seeing. All right. That's all I'm saying. But we had a green week. Obviously, I talked about that. SPX had a green week and we had a green week. Our profits were nice and green. What indicator are you using from TradingView? I'm using the numbers are the Strat. So the numbers is called Strat Assistant. Those are the numbers because I use the Strat numbering system as one of the things I use for my charts. I also use moving averages. So the EMAs are here. I got fair value gaps on here. The VWAP is here. Those are the things. So what you're seeing with these numbers, you're seeing the Strat. Okay, that's what you're seeing, Terry, the Strat numbering system, which is something we will definitely talk about hey Lisa, we'll talk about that in E2T University. We're going to talk about the different ways, because charting is going to be a big way, a big thing, a big part of E2T University is going to be charting, because everything really is based on the foundation of your charting technical analysis. We can learn the strategies, which we can, and those are fairly straightforward. But you need to know that charting, because the charting can take you into whatever strategy you decide you're going to use, or whatever strategy you already are using. You can use charting to get you there. All right. E2T University is open. You can go to my website, educator2trader.com. We're starting on September 22nd, that evening. It's a Monday. We're starting that Monday evening with our training. You can be a beginner, you can have some skills, you can be, a little more further along. I promise you there's going to be some stuff that's going to be said that is going to benefit you and grow your trading. I promise. All right. So that's what SPX did last week. Let's go talk about what's coming up this week. What we see? Oh, y'all tell me. I know Robinhood got added to the S&P 500, but what else got added? Robinhood got added. I don't want to say it was Friday. What else got added though? Because of course we're expecting Robinhood already popped after it got added. It popped in the post market. But what else got added to S&P 500? Which I was kind of shocked that Robinhood got added so fast. Robinhood had an IPO, 2 years ago? Was it two? Maybe it was 2, maybe 3 years ago. Time goes fast. But Robinhood and FanDuel use gray area to link sports betting and stocks. What else was the Applovian or Applovian app? Okay, so what is that Applovian? Who are they? Who are they? What do they do? Okay, because they probably, I'm sure they a pretty big stock though, 490. AppLovin Corporation. What are they doing in the post market though? Because they probably pop right on up after the post market. So, yep, they sure did. They closed at 490, and they're, I say currently after the post market, they went up $30. They closed at 490 and popped big time up to 521. Ooh wee, ooh wee. App Loving Corporation. I don't know what they do. I know Robinhood also got added. SoFi was looking to be added, maybe next time SoFi. But Robinhood closed at 101, and it did in the post market went to 107. Yeah, that's gonna be one that people are probably gonna look at a little bit coming into the week, because somebody was talking before. Actually, it's been a while back, and I started. They were talking about how Robinhood was such a big holder of crypto, and it was really just going to be a player, not just as a broker, but just a player. So I started doing daily buys of Robinhood. I think I might buy like $5 a day of Robinhood, and I just been adding to it over the course of time. Shoot, now my little stock went right on up. Okay, well, I wasn't even watching it. It's just I just have it on like what's a autopilot. And it's just been growing. It's been growing like that. But yeah, good deal. Now it's got a fair value gap that's going to have to be dealt with. But people will hop on the train and ride them, cowboy. That's what'll happen. Okay, so Robinhood and App Lovin got added. Detroit's car makers to save billions in Trump emissions rollback. The deregulator push is clearing the way for Detroit's legacy automakers to reallocate billions of dollars. What emissions rollback? We all right with deregulating emissions? We gonna let the catalytic converters put all kind of stuff into the atmosphere that's already struggling, that's already got global warming. That atmosphere is the one we just gonna deregulate and let more junk go into that same atmosphere? What are we doing to the planet? What are we doing? What are we doing? Oh, Lord. Inflation data in the week ahead will be the main focus for investors. Yeah, the CPI and PPI is coming up this week. We'll talk about that in our meetings coming up. Apple expected to unveil an iPhone Air plus new watches and AirPods. Nope, not buying a thing. I'm going to just keep updating what I got. I think I have an iPhone 16 now. I'm fine. I barely keep up with the updates as we go. Barely keep up with them now. CEOs eyeing tech deals, record flock to key Goldman confab. Okay, loves a corporate breakup. Denim is having a moment. Why jeans are the hottest trade in retail. Hassett says the Feds need to be fully independent from Trump. I agree with that. The Fed needs to be fully independent from Trump. I totally agree with that. We cannot trust that our economy, it can be in the hands of somebody who's not an economist. Hello. Don't be putting our hands put our economy in the hands of a politician. No. NFL's financial drama will happen mostly off the field this season. Okay. S&P warns of the Hyundai's volatility rise in Japan's market. Hyundai's. Okay. Let's move on from there. Sunday night football. Did y'all tell me whether the Jags are still winning? Did anybody tell me? Nobody told me. Ward said Robinhood's market cap already is near 90 billion. Janae says mobile technology company. This is App Lovin. The company helps developers market, monetize, analyze, and publish their apps through its mobile advertising, marketing, and analytics platforms. Okay, App Lovin. Okay, makes sense. And we definitely know there's an app for everything. It's an app. Treasury Secretary Bessent warns of massive refunds if the Supreme Court voids Trump tariff. Refunds to who? When I read this, I started wondering who refunding who and why. Why would there be refunds if the Supreme Court voids the Trump? Who we refunded? The countries that paid us tariffs? Who we refunded? Bessent expects Supreme Court to uphold tariff legality, but eyes Plan B. Postal tariff to U.S. sank 80% after Trump ended low-price goods exemption. AI is not just ending entry-level jobs. It's the end of the career ladder as we know it. Okay, I don't want to talk vaccines. I can jump on that bandwagon. I will not. I will not, because that's a touchy subject. And I guess what I will say thing is that I think we need to keep the vaccines. I don't think we need to go away from something, wholly solely, just take it all out. No, we've done that too many times and caused problems. I don't think we need to jump into them wholly and solely either, because we did that with. Okay, I said I wasn't going to get in there. Buffett likely exit from Kraft Heinz is a big problem to the underperforming mac and cheese stock. Okay. Okay. That's CNBC. Let's go look at what's happening this week in the meetings. Sunday, we got the OPEC, JMMC. Okay. Tomorrow, consumer credit month over month is the only thing we have on the 8th. Tuesday, we have NFIB small business and API weekly statistical, 2 yellow folders, nothing burgers, probably. I, of course, say that, and then somebody will have a talk, and next thing we know, Monday and Tuesday we'll be going ballistic. Wednesday, we've got core PPI and PPI at 8:30, so before market opens on Wednesday. Final wholesale inventories, crude oil inventories, which really is orange, and the 10-year bond auction probably should be orange or red. Definitely orange, maybe even red. 10-year bond auction, but from what I saw somewhere, bonds is kind of like a dead topic at this point. Bonds is like a dead topic. Anyway, Thursday morning, we got CPI. CPI month over month, year over year. PPI is producer price index. CPI is consumer price index. The PPI is really the one that lets us know, gives us a closer indication of where inflation is going, because PPI is the producers. What is it costing for the producers? What's the inflation for them? The consumer pricing index is how is inflation hitting the consumer? Of course, me and you, those who are not producers. Okay. So that's Thursday morning before market opens. 30-year bond is that day at 1:00. And then Friday, we've got preliminary University of Michigan. Oh, now this is back to being red. These were orange for a few weeks or for a few months. Consumer sentiment and inflation expectations. Biggest things, basically, PPI and CPI are the big things Wednesday and Thursday. Okay. Earnings for this week, not a whole lot happening here as far as earnings go. Earnings season's kind of winding, because we're coming on at the end on the 3rd week of this month. We're going to have quad witching, which is going to be not this week, but next week. We will have quad witching, right? Because September is the end of the 3rd quarter. We have quad witching, which means there'll be stocks and bonds and all the things are going to expire at the end of the 3rd quarter. So our earnings here, so the earnings season is winding up is what I'm saying. This month it will close, so that way 4th quarter earnings will pick up and do its thing. Okay. Planet is before market on Monday. Casey's, Abivax, Mission, and Mama's Creations is all Monday. Tuesday, Sale Point, Momo looks like Fuel Cell Energy, Core and Main, Corn Ferry, Designer Brands, Cognite, Shoulder, and Bioceres. Crop, I think it says Crop. Yep, Crop Solutions, BioX. That's all Tuesday morning before open. Tuesday after close, Oracle, GameStop, which is still around, AeroVironment, Synopsys, Rubrik, Lands End, Limonera, Methode, Calavo, and AMark. AMark Precious Metals. That's all Tuesday. It's happening Tuesday. Wednesday, we got Chewy, Daktronics, and 10. Yep, 10 Limited. Wednesday after close, we got Zenvia, Oxford, Lasaka, Culp, and Vince. Thursday before market opens, Kroger, Lovesac, KALV, which is CalVista, Hooker, and Vera Bradley. Thursday after market close, Adobe, looks like I said, Farmer Brothers, RF Industries, and Kestra. Nothing on Friday. Nothing showing up on Fridays. I guess only if you're looking for anything's probably Oracle. Maybe Oracle and Adobe, probably the only ones. Those are the tech ones. People like to look at those. That's all the ones I really can see in there. Okay. So we talked about earnings. We talked about last week. We kind of I'll hit it one more time. E2T University is starting up on the 22nd. 12 weeks of learning. We're going to do the basics. What are stocks? What are options? We're going to go into charting. What does that look like? We're going to go into strategies. What does that look like? And then we're going to work on risk management. How do you put in your stop losses and all the things that go along with that? Trade management. mentals. How do you manage your mind when you're trading? Because anytime your money is on the line, it's going to be different. I don't care what anybody says. When you're trading in the sim, it's one thing. When you're trading live, whole different ball game. Selena says, we in the upside down, non-experts making decisions that affect us all instead of those that his research have research and knowledge. Yep. 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 And yep. Jags are up 26-1. They're going to break the system after they make their money in crypto. Yeah. That I'm looking at the comments. Yepper. Okay, let's move back to the other side. Okay, coming up this week, we kind of hit some stuff, but I got us some trade ideas for the week. Yes, I do. 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 Okay, we've got Apple, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, NEE, which is Next Era Energy. It's got a star next to it. Y'all see what the star means? Let's move myself out the way so y'all can see what the star means. TLT and Walmart. Those are all on the put credit spread list. On the call credit spread list, we've got Next Era Energy, TLT, UPS, and Walmart. Walmart is in a neutral territory. Walmart is in neutral territory. So that's why it's on both lists. But the star means it's on both lists. That's what the star means. The star means that the stock is on both. It is in a neutral setup. And if you want to trade, you can trade going up, you can trade going down, you can trade it in the middle. You can trade it in the middle. Yep, you can trade it in the middle. All right, that's what that means there. Let me do a quick look at, let's pick one. What do we like on here? What do we like? Y'all tell me which one we like on here. What do you like? I was going to look at Walmart and still will. What do we like on the list? What do we like? I'm in Amazon and Microsoft. I'm in Amazon, Microsoft, SPY, Triple Q, IWM. I don't think I'm in SPY. I'm not in Triple Q. I'm in SPY and IWM. We like Apple? Okay, let's go look at Apple. Let's go look at Apple. Remove from the stage, add to the stage. Apple and Microsoft. That's the two we'll look at. Okay. So this is Apple. I haven't charted Apple personally in a minute. So let me remove the drawings that are on here because I don't know how accurate those are. But when I'm looking, this is the daily chart I'm looking at. Now, as a seller, I'm looking for support, resistance. That's going to hold me for the rest of the week. We see the trend. Anybody's looking at the trend? It's a trend line. Okay, we got all our moving averages pulling apart. The blue is the 50. The orange is the 20. The 9, which should not be way down there. That cannot. No, that's the 100 and the 200. The moving averages. Orange, blue is 50. Green is 100 and black is 200. 20, 50, 100, 200. That's how I do my moving averages. 20, 50, 100, 200. The 50 is what I use to determine the trend. The 50 period moving average is what I use to determine the trend. It's a nice mid-term moving average. So my trend, looking here on Apple, seems to be bullish. Still, we got our moving averages are all fanned out. Yep, we've got a gap that needs to be identified. This is what's left of it. It was a bigger gap, but this is what's left of that gap. Okay. Support and resistance. There's some support right here, 234. Remember, when I mark my lines, I'm marking lines based on it. I don't mark a whole zone. I put a line and I know it's a zone. That's how I do it. All right. I put it there and I know it's a zone, even though I don't mark it as a zone. I mark it as a line and I remember that it's a zone. So It did go up. Apple did go up to, it went up as high as 241 and some change, 241.32, and then pulled back and actually closed at 239.69. So 240 is going to show itself as some resistance, right? Resistance. It has a gap down here below that it's going to need to come back and grab. Boom, 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 boom. This is a regular gap and this is a fair value gap, because I'll do it again, but this is going to this from here to here. Nope, that's that top part. The bottom part is too low. From wick to wick. Nope, I don't want you to do that. From wick to wick. From wick to wick is, come on, baby. There you go. Right. That's going to be a fair value gap. Let me change it. Let me change it colors so that way we can see that the feel of it is going to be something. Let's do it like a little light pinkish, maybe a different pinkish, a little bit brighter. There we go. The pink one is a fair value gap, which is basically means they left behind some imbalance and some stuff that needs to be captured. And Apple gonna want to come back and get it because the market doesn't like imbalances. So regular gap is between the second and the third. There was a gap left behind, and the skip between the second and the fourth also left a fair value gap that is in need of a revisit. Apple is at resistance. It's showing resistance. We'll see. And this is a doji candle. So on Friday, it is a was a two up candle, but this is the indecision. This is not a candle that shows they know we're going up some more. Maybe, I'm not sure. I went up a little bit and then I changed my mind. So I came back down here and it actually closed. Let me see, what was the close of this one? 239.78. And the close of here, 239.68, 69. So this actually closed a few cents, like 9 cents lower than the close of the previous day. That feels a little manipulated if you ask me, but there's that. Okay. So this is why Apple, though, is still on the put credit spread list. And it's on the put credit spread list with, let me see, what did I have? 225, I think I had for a strike. I think it was pretty far down there. I think that's what I put in there. Apple has 232.5. So 232.5 is where this area here, this 232, this support area. So it's actually the credit spread, or the put credit spread is below two supports, at least two supports. It's actually halfway through this fair value gap, about halfway through this regular gap. 232.5 is where the strike is for the put credit spread on the list. I just told you that it's on the list. So we're doing a put credit spread at 232.5. That's what I have for the put credit spread on the list that we just looked at. Okay. 9/12 expiration. All right. That's Apple. And let's go look at Microsoft. Lisa put UPS on there. And that's Lisa's baby. She gonna definitely look at UPS. All right, so this is Microsoft. Microsoft looking, this is the 50-period move looking kind of flat. Like it almost need to be in the neutral territory. This has been flat for a minute, for a good several days. Microsoft is still showing bullish on my peak bot watch list, but this moving average is looking kind of flat, and the 20-period moving average is showing bearish. So it maybe just hasn't flipped over yet, but this is looking kind of bad, looking kind of flat. Not looking bad, just looking flat. So let me see. We have a gap down here that I think it may have filled. There was a gap from July. There was a gap from July that needed filling, and it looks like, yep, Microsoft dipped its toe right back in there, like, oh, we'll go ahead and get our gap. It did that. That was the gap. It got part of it. It didn't fill that entire gap. So there's still some more to this gap, maybe a little bit more. The gap stopped. The price stopped at 492.37, but the bottom of the gap is at, come on, The bottom of the gap is at 491. So there's still $1 left, but Microsoft is currently at 495 is where it closed at. So it did dip into the gap and then push back up into the close at 495. I have Microsoft at 480, 485 as 480, 485 as a put credit spread. There's another gap. There's a few gaps here. I was not getting on here to do a whole lot of charting, but I see what I see. I asked y'all, didn't I? Y'all like, we didn't ask you to start looking at no charts, but here we are. There's another little gap down here in the 486s range, and the strike we have for the put credit spread is 480 to 485. 480 to 485. Well, we're going with put credit spreads at this point. We could really, for what you see, I see your point, George. What we see here in, we probably could roll with the iron condor. And y'all know how I loves a good iron condor. Okay. We could do a put credit spread of PCS 480, 485. I could see that because you're below these two gaps as they, if and when they feel, but there's also some support here. Let's put some lines on for some support. There's a support there. Of course, these gaps are also going to provide support. There's some in here that's actually resistance because price is down there now. Yep. So 480, 485, you're going with the put credit spread, but shoot, let's go look on the top side because that little neutral looking, shoot, there's how many days? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, about 11, 12 trading days of neutralness. And this is a 3 candle too. Remember I told you the 3 candle basically overshadowed. It went up higher than and down lower than the previous candle. It covered in all these candles. It's basically what's called a mother bar. And this mother bar basically covered up all of these previous bars. See how this candle here basically shadowed in all of those previous candles. I see LinkedIn user. Yes, George. All these previous candles are all inside of that mother bar. What is that thing? Was it a harami we looked at? Was it a harami? I think it was a harami that we looked at where you got the little candle and the big candle. Michael says, wasn't Friday data bad with overbought markets that a correction is ready to happen? Very well could be. Very well. I mean, we started pulling back a little bit then, but it seems like, on the other hand, this market does not seem to care. All right. This market seems like it don't even care about this or that. It's like, oh, we still going. It just seems like in a correction, I think we definitely left a good little bit of liquidity below. So there is something to go get. But this market doesn't seem to be fazed by some of that. So as I always say, I will continue to say, trade what you see. Trade what you see. There is some support. There's some resistance, above where Microsoft currently is. You've got some resistance at 502. I see another piece at 507, another at 509. So with this look, Microsoft could go either way. It could go with the put credit spread we just mentioned, or you really could go to a call credit spread. Again, none of this is investment advice. I'm not an investment advisor. This is September. I ain't convinced on that either. That this is just because this is September. We've seen the market do all kind of stuff, not based on the month. I'm not saying it will or won't, Michael. I'm not saying what the market will and won't do. What I am saying is, seems like some stuff that we depended on was like seasonally this or seasonally that. It don't seem like it has mattered as much in these streets. Okay. That's why trade what you see. CCS, I see 505, 507.5, something like that. Again, trade what you see. Trade what you see. Give it some time. Good thing about credit spreads is we don't need to jump in on Monday morning at 9:30. You can wait. You can do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You can wait till Thursday. with credit spreads, you can wait. A lot of times I do credit spreads on Wednesday with a Friday expiration. I give the first part of the week a chance to do what it's going to do, and then I go ahead and September might move the markets lower, but seasonality wise, it has been known to do that. But how many things have we seen this year that didn't go with seasonality? Plenty. Okay, let me go on to UPS because I'm getting over my time. All right, I'm doing membership work on this here call. This is the kind of stuff I do when I'm in the membership, which I'm gonna be with my members at 6 o'clock, which is about 15 minutes. So but here's a gap up here. This is UPS. We're gonna look at in the real quickness. Okay, that's way up there. Well, I'll say way up there. $100. UPS is down in the $85 range. It's just been consolidating. You see that? It's definitely bearish. We have it on our list as a bearish trade. UPS as 87.88. We've got it right up. It's got some resistance just above it. That one's a little low. I meant to put it here. Okay, we've got a few little places where it's just kind of dancing in here. Dancing. It was 84 and some change, 84.47 was support, and it did hit it here and move. So we got a 2 up, 2 down, 2 up. And this may be a 2-2 reverse. 2-2 reversal. I'd like to see it get back above 85.64 in order to enter, but according to my moving averages, it's definitely showing bearish. You still got it. So look, it did bounce off of this 85 area, 84.50 area. Let me see what else is back here for some. When's the last time UPS was down here? It's been a while. UPS was down here in 2020. No, UPS, it's been a while since you were here. Let's say just 2020. Right, 85.76. It went as low as $82 back then. Yep. It's been a while since UPS has been down in this area. It doesn't seem to like it. All right. So with that being said, you got to keep that in mind that this is where it bounced from back in 2020. Or it could bounce from there again, come up out of here. But at this point, we do have 87 and 88 as the strike price. I might even, this is the weekly chart now. I might even, depending on how the first few days went, I would even consider CCS of 89.90 if you wanted to go out a little further, if you wanted to really be beyond what shows on a weekly chart as resistance. But if we go to the daily chart, I only went to that weekly because I wanted to see the data. I wanted to see that data to see when was it down here in this price before. But at 87.88, there are still several resistances. CCS 87.88. You still have several resistances between current price and 87.88 that could potentially turn it around if you were to trade it as a call credit spread. All right. All righty. So I covered a few stocks. Walmart, Apple. Nope, I didn't look at Walmart. Apple, Microsoft, and UPS are the ones I looked at, right? This is the kind of stuff we would do. We don't really do this in our membership anymore, but this is the kind of thing we are definitely going to learn in the E2T University, because I want us to be able to do other strategies, to do weekly credit spreads and do cash secure puts and things like that. Look like you asked about Bull. So Bull is only at $12. Why did I think it was more than that? They had an IPO a while back, though, right? April, looks like. What strike would you get? If you were going to get a strike in the $10 range, would you get it in the money, Selena? If you're going to get something in the money that you could use covered calls, that would really be good. If you could get an in the money strike like $10 or $11, and you could do covered calls on it all the way up, that would definitely be worth it. I don't know what the prices look like on Webull, but if you could do that, maybe get a $12, 11 or $12 cash secure put, not cash secure put, leap. Let me look real quick and see what that money looking like. How much it's gonna cost to buy a bull? To buy a bull, would you go out to 2027? January of 27, if you got a 10 strike, that's only $560. And you could use that for 2 years, a year and a half to sell covered calls against it every week. Yeah, 2027. They have a setup similar to Hood before it blasted. Yeah, I think it would be good if you got. I would definitely buy in the money strike. I would be at the money like 12.5 or 10. I would go with one of those. 12.5, of course, is going to cost you a little bit less, but I would do that, and I would plan to sell covered calls against it. So if you bought, let me write a little note up here for the people who watching. This is not investment advice. Buy a 10 or 12.5 strike. 10 or 12.5 strike for a 2027 leap and sell weekly covered calls against it. So the covered calls are going to help you pay for the leap. You pay $500 for it and you sell covered calls against it every week. Looks like if you sell those, the 12.5 call or 13, you have to go above the money, is like $37 a week. That's what it shows now. That's just, market is closed. But that covered call is going to help you pay for the leap. You want to make sure that you're going higher than your cost basis and higher than resistance. So you make sure that you don't end up, losing getting assigned or whatever. So you want to make sure that you don't get assigned. But yeah, sounds like a plan. How I'm talking to you about it, I might have to go check it out myself. Yep. All righty. Selena said, great idea for the cover call. I forgot about that. Oh yeah, we need to make sure that if you're going to put money on something that it's going to pay you back. So you sell cover calls against it, sell weekly cover calls or monthlies. If you don't want to watch it every week, you can sell monthly cover calls. Just sell cover calls on that monthly expiration and, keep a close enough eye on it, or make sure you got an alert or something that lets you know if price gets too close to your strike price. Collect your premiums every month and just ride it. Let the premiums help pay for the leap along the way. So while your leap is growing, you're also making cover calls. And if at some point in the future you decide to sell it, you're in good shape. Yeah, I think but this is Webull on the chart. Bull, BULL is on the chart. It's on my screen. Yep, that's Webull. That's the daily chart, and this is the weekly chart. They definitely did a pop, which always happens, where they pop after IPO, go up into the, into the skybox. What's it, $80 it went up to, almost $80, and then pulled back and really hasn't been doing much since then, but kind of hanging around, which is fine. It means it can grow. It's kind of gone up and then falling back down. It's currently in the $12 range, which means that the leap is quite affordable. Okay, there's that. Let me see, what else did I have on my list of things to talk about? Okay, let's go back to here. So I just was showing credit spread stuff. Didn't Bull report a loss? What do you mean by that? So Selena's asking about a leap, buying something for 2027. So when you're buying leaps, you're not really like working it. You're not worried. I would say you're not worried about week to week. You really are looking at the longer term outlook of the stock. But so she's talking about buying a leap and selling covered calls against it. All right. Credit spreads masterclass is something that you could purchase over in the Educator to Trader. All the stuff we talked about was credit spreads. Okay, we've talked about that whole list of trades I put on there was all credit spreads. And if you'd like to be able to trade credit spreads, whether that's weekly or daily, because that's what we do in our SPX membership is we trade credit spreads every day. Credit spreads is our bread and butter. You know, that's our jam. You can go ahead and grab that in my website, Credit Spreads Masterclass at Educator to Trader. We have a good number of people signed up for E2T University. I'm so excited about, you're welcome, Janae and Selena. I'm so excited about this next crop of people that are going to come through E2T University, and we're going to grow some brand new baby traders, and we're going to expand some traders that have already been on the road. I'm always, for a long time, I didn't really get all crazy about the charts. I didn't really get as in depth and involved in the charts. And then, you lose a little bit. You get a little more excited about the things that are the foundations, which is the charts. You're like, well, I can't seem to get profitable and stay that way. What is going on? And as I pulled up and really started to spend time and energy expanding in my own ability to technically analyze the chart, the light came on. And so I really like being able to share that information with the people who trade with me and those who I train. I really like to be able to do that. And that's a big piece of what will happen inside of E2T University. So, yeah, if you hadn't signed up yet and you're still thinking about it, don't study long, study wrong. Y'all come on and get yourself signed up and get yourself ready, because we're going to be starting up. I did give some like prep things to look at to kind of get your motor running, all those good things, get you ready. But I'm excited about what's going to happen here. If you're thinking about it, go ahead and get your coins. The price is no longer at the early bird special. We extended the early bird special for a few weeks. Now it is at regular price, but it's currently at where you can pay it in 2 payments. You can do it in a payment plan over the course of a month, pay half and then pay the other half in a month. That's going to go away. All right. All right. So, if you come in, as they say, come on. There's that. I think that was the end of the slides. Yep. The next thing we come to is the E2T declaration. All right. So I'm going to close this call. It's been great hanging out with y'all. We spent a little extra time today looking at the charts. That is not usually what I do on this call. I reserved that whole extra technical analysis and all for the membership. Those are things that I do inside the membership. But I was feeling generous today. So we did it today on this call. And in about 5 minutes or 3 minutes or so, I'm going to go over in the Zoom with the members, and we're going to hang out over there, do our training and charting call that we have every single week. SPX is what we trade every single day. And we doing okay. We're doing okay in there. We're going to be all right. All of us, we all right. We had a nice week this week. We traded live together on Friday. That was super fun. And it's always good because trading can be very lonely. All right, everybody. I will see y'all in the market tomorrow morning. Join me at 8:30 live here on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. I'll be in all the places. Join me in all the places. Okay. I will see y'all. And I want you to stay green. And I want you to get this money. All right. See you, everybody. Bye-bye, everyone.